Studies on psychological manipulation show that people exposed to repeated emotional invalidation often begin blaming themselves after conflicts, even when they didn't do anything wrong. Not because they are irrational, but because their sense of reality is slowly being reshaped. Hi, I'm Kamala Hess, systemic therapist and founder of the Rebel Moms community. Every day I help women escape their emotional prisons by teaching them how to balance motherhood, feminine, and relationships. If that sounds something like you need, go ahead, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any more of this content on emotional intelligence. Let me ask you something honest, and I want you to answer honestly. Have you ever entered a conversation knowing exactly what hurt you and somehow you left it apologizing? Have you ever tried to explain your feelings calmly and ended up feeling like you are the problem? If this keeps happening to you, there is something important you need to understand. This is not a personality flaw, but is a relational pattern. Many women who repeatedly leave conversations feeling guilt are not overly sensitive. They are actually experiencing emotion invalidation and sometimes gaslighting. Let me explain how this works. In a healthy conversation, both people stay connected to their original issues. But in a manipulative conversation, the focus slowly shifts. You bring up something that hurt you, and suddenly the conversation becomes all about your tone, your timing, your reaction, your expectations, your personality. And hold on, what is the original issue? It disappears. And now you are defending yourself instead of being heard. This creates confusion because your nervous system still remembers what happened. But the conversation tells you something else happened. So your brain starts trying to resolve the contradiction. And the fastest way to resolve a contradiction is self blame. Self blame restores order. It gives mind a simple explanation. It is my fault, then everything makes sense. But here's the truth that most women were never taught. Confusion after conflict is not normal in health relationships. Clarity is. You can disagree with someone and still feel grounded. You can have conflict and still feel respected. You can be challenged and still feel emotionally safe. If instead you feel confused, guilt, small, ashamed, or unsure about what just actually happened, your nervous system is responding to something real. So let's talk about another hidden pattern. Many women were raised to maintain harmony at any cost. So when tension appears in conversation, they automatically move into a repair mode. They explain more, they soften their message, they take responsibility quickly. Not because they are wrong, but because they are trained to protect connection. And manipulative dynamics rely on these reflex. Because the moment you take responsibility for something that wasn't yours, the system resets and nothing changes. Over time, something even deeper happens. You stop trusting your perception. You begin editing your words before speaking. You hesitate before expressing your needs. You rehearse your conversations in your head. Not because communication is difficult, but because it stopped feeling safe. So let me tell you something clearly. If you constantly leave the conversations feeling like everything is your fault, you're not being dramatic, you're not being sensitive, and definitely you're not crazy. You are responding to a dynamic where emotional responsibility is not shared equally. Emotional relationship, healthy relationships don't make you question your reality. They actually help you understand it better. So if this pattern feels familiar to you, this is your invitation to start trusting your perception again. Because emotional intelligence begins the moment you stop abandoning your own experience just to keep the peace. And if you are already following me, congratulations, you're growing your emotional intelligence every single day. And if you're not, well, you might not see me again, so follow now and make your emotional maturity a lifestyle. Comment below, emotional intelligence is my rebellion, and send this to a woman who keeps apologizing after every conversation.